This is Hayato Kasukabe, a young man who returns to his grandmother's house after 3 years. He recently arrived from Tokyo and plans to turn the cafe into a parking lot after learning that his grandmother has died. When he enters his grandmother's house, Hayato is surprised to find 5 beautiful girls living there. Because they think of Hayato as a burglar, they manage to knock him out and tie him up. As he struggles to free himself, Hayato reveals his true identity as his grandmother's grandson. The 5 girls, Riho, Kane, Shirajuku, Vuka, and Ami, also reveal that they are his grandmother's waitresses, for whom they have been working for the past year. They explain that his grandmother had allowed them to stay because there are so many empty rooms. Unfortunately, Hayato insists that because they aren't related to him, he has the right to kick them out of his house. Soon after, the girls try to think of another way to persuade Hayato to abandon his plan to tear down the house. So Uka enters Hayato's room dressed as a waitress and offers him the dinner she will prepare. Hayato requests that she prepare fried chicken, but she fails miserably. After dinner, Hayato recalls his conversation with his grandmother, in which he promised to go to the university in Tokyo and became rich someday, but she disagrees with his idea, believing it won't bring him happiness. He then feels strange, suspecting the girls might be planning to ambush him, but Riho has a secret plan of her own. As Hayato tries to sleep, a drunk Shirajuku enters his room and attempts to seduce him, which works as Riho's trap, and then attempts to blackmail him. Finally, an enraged Ami appears, believing he is attempting to harm Shirajuku, and beats him up. The next day, the developers arrive at the cafe to inspect the building before tearing down it. They inform Hayato that the location would be more profitable as a parking lot rather than a cafe. When the Familia's sign is damaged, Hayato recalls his grandmother telling him that everyone in this cafe is family. He quickly grabs his hand and retrieves the sign. Sensing his feeling, Uka makes dinner for him, claiming that it's his grandmother's dish. As Hayato tries to spoon the dish, he finally cries over his grandmother's death. While Hayato washes the plate, Uka tells him that his grandmother always eats dinner with them and laughs with them. So Hayato decides to run his grandmother's cafe while taking a year off from school. However, if the shop continues to lose money, he plans to turn it into a parking lot, which surprises the girls. Because they will be living together, Hayato decides to share the chores, but all of the girls come up with excuses to avoid their responsibilities. They reveal that his grandmother used to take care of the chores for them, leading Hayato to suspect their involvement in his grandmother's passing. As a result, the 5 of them work together to complete their chores. When Hayato tries to take the laundry from the washing machine, he mistakenly takes out Uka's laundry, leading the girls to misunderstand his intentions and consider him a perverted man. As punishment, they make him clean the cafe on his own. While cleaning, he recalls that the old coffee mill was his grandmother's favorite machine. Later that night, the girls then invites Hayato to eat with them as a family because they promised his grandmother that they would always eat their meals together. The next morning, Hayato decides to rehearse with the girls before reopening the cafe. Hayato's first step is to make them coffee, but the girls comment on how bad his coffee is. Determined to recreate his grandmother's strong and flavorful brew, Hayato seeks guidance. Fortunately, Akane steps in and serves him a cup of excellent coffee, capturing his attention. Impressed by her abilities, Hayato approaches Akane and asks for her help in perfecting his grandmother's recipe, resulting in a moment of adoration between them. The next day, Hayato invites Riho to negotiate with business partners about the reopening of the Familia's cafe, but Riho saves Ayato from his unfriendly behavior. They then go to the shrine to seek guidance and express their desire to reopen the cafe. Riho then scolds him for being disrespectful to his business partners. Realizing that his resolve is weak, Hayato promises to be more careful in the future. As the utility bills have risen, Hayato argues that they need to save money on utilities, while Uka scolds him for putting his socks in her laundry. Seeing them both argue, Riho advises Hayato to reconcile with Uka, emphasizing the importance of a harmonious environment for the comfort of their customers. Akane then advises him to praise Uka because Hayato is good at it. So when Hayato tries to compliment Uka on her hard work, his compliment is misinterpreted as sarcasm, causing further misunderstandings between them. Later that night, Riho asks Hayato's help to tell Uka that the bath is free. As he enters the room, Hayato finds Uka in her waitress uniform, which he genuinely finds cute. Uka then expresses her desire to become a costume designer and expresses her delight in creating their uniforms herself. Soon after, a drunk Shirajiku approaches Hayato and hugs him, and Ami captures the moment as proof of Shirajiku's playful behavior. The following day, Hayato informs the girls that the cafe will open tomorrow, so he pays them for their previous month's work, revealing that he has profited from the stock market. When Hayato returns to his room, he discovers that his laptop and cell phone have been damaged as a result of Ami dropping her dumbbells while serving tea. Plus, Hayato learns that the company in which he had invested has gone bankrupt, wiping out his savings and leaving the cafe with zero funds. Thanks to Ami's dumbbell. With their financial situation getting worse, Hayato declares that they are now entirely dependent on the success of the cafe. As the grand reopening approaches, Hayato and the girls work hard to provide excellent service to their customers. However, their efforts are foiled when Fuwa, a lone shark who had previously insulted Hayato's grandmother, visits the cafe. Despite his dislike for Fuwa, Hayato expresses gratitude for his previous support but is met with an insulting demand to bow as a sign of appreciation. Keeping his temper, Hayato quickly bows to Fuwa, but he continues to insult his grandmother. Hearing his badmouth, Hayato manages to stop the girls from attacking him. When Fuwa harasses Shirajiku on purpose, Hayato quickly steps in and blackmails him for his disgraceful behavior. Shirajiku then notices that Hayato hasn't changed in 15 years. To make up for the decreasing number of customers at Familia, Hayato decides to set up a stall at the Cherry Blossom Festival over the weekend. So he plans to create a new menu that will catch people's attention. Shirajiku then suggests making cherry liqueur cookies, but her enthusiasm overpowers her as she gets caught up in the aroma of the liqueur. As a result, she tries to seduce Hayato once more. Soon after, Akane offers Hayato his grandmother's cookie recipe, which he eagerly requests that she share with him. As the Cherry Blossom Festival approaches, Hayato and Ami set up their stall, but Uka is being harassed by Fuwa's grandson and his thugs. Thankfully, the other stall owners arrive to save her and threaten to call the cops, forcing them to flee. Later that night, Hayato joyfully announces that their cafe is doing extremely well. However, their happiness is short-lived when they discover the Familia's stall has been destroyed by Fuwa's grandson and his thugs. On their way back home, Hayato remembers that his grandmother used to have an old food cart, which they quickly transform into a mobile cafe stall. Their new venture becomes an enormous success with Riho's assistance in social media promotion. As supplies begin to run low, a determined Ami rushes back from the cafe to replenish them. When they return home together, they run into Fuwa's grandson and his thugs again. Fuwa's grandson, confident in his connections, confronts Hayato and punches him. Ami comes to the rescue and demonstrates her incredible strength, easily defeating the thugs with her powerful kicks. As her energy drops from her work, Fuwa's grandson targets her, but Ami cleverly uses distractions and delivers a decisive blow to defeat him. Hayato then intimidates the thugs by claiming that they are lucky to be facing Ami because his strongest leader is Mad Dog Uka, to which they run away. It is revealed that Hayato willingly took the punch from Fuwa's grandson to protect Uka's decoration at the food cart, which Uka is amazed at his efforts. At midnight, while everyone else is sleeping, Hayato discovers Riho still awake, busy selecting photos to promote on the cafe's social media. Curious about her dedication, Hayato asks why she works so hard. Riho expresses her desire to repay Hayato's grandmother for saving her life. That is why she works so hard to protect the cafe. Flashing back to her mother's words, Riho remembers how she was raised to believe that those who don't work hard are worthless. Hayato, on the other hand, encourages her to do more things for herself, reminding her of his grandmother's teachings and making her consider that Hayato might actually be trustworthy. On their day off from the cafe, Hayato learns from the other girls that Akane is a vocalist and guitarist in a band. However, she doesn't allow them to come to the band's concert. As Hayato happens upon an underground concert, he discovers a talented Akane who is passionate about music. After a successful performance, Akane runs into Hayato, who has been waiting for her. Feeling embarrassed that he saw her concert, Hayato promises to keep it a secret from the others. As they ride the train together, Akane expresses her belief that she was not born to be a musician. Hayato, on the other hand, disagrees and tells her that her songs touch his heart. To prove his point, he shows her one of her CDs, bringing a smile to Akane's face. A week later, the five girls are discussing living together with a man and wondering why Hayato hasn't tried to seduce any of them. They also speculate on his future plans, with some speculating that he may be considering marriage. Akane claims that she wouldn't mind marrying Hayato, causing a shock among the girls. However, she clarifies that she is only joking, making them even more curious. The next day, when Riho returns home, she overhears Hayato's voice with Shirajuku, which makes her think bad things. So Riho rushes into the room and finds Hayato studying with Shirajuku and preparing a toasted sandwich. After observing Hayato's smile when Shirajuku praises him, Riho suddenly scolds him for being too friendly. Hayato unexpectedly reaches out to pat Riho's head, thanking her for her compliment, which brings a smile to her face. Unfortunately, Shirajuku then becomes angry when Hayato agrees to Riho's suggestion of updating his grandmother's old menu. This leads to a sandwich battle between Shirajuku and Riho. As they present their sandwiches to Hayato for tasting, he declares himself full and decides to leave, leaving both girls feeling disappointed. During the cafe's closing time, Hayato notices Ami's strange behavior toward him, and he becomes suspicious of her attitude. Determined to uncover the truth, he then asks Akane, who suspects that Ami might have recently lost a karate match. Later that night, Hayato invites Ami to his room to discuss the rumors, which surprises her and confirms her loss. She reveals that his opponent was too strong, and her coach advises her to give up on something that appears to be impossible. Hayato, on the other hand, encourages her to learn more fighting techniques rather than focusing on one. So Ami's spirits revive, and she eagerly resumes her training, but she unintentionally drops her dumbbell, which lands on Hayato's brand new laptop. Seeing Hayato's scary expression, Uka drops the dumbbell and breaks his new phone, resulting in a hilarious chase between Hayato and Uka. During a busy period at the cafe, Hayato asks for Shirajuku's assistance, but she appears spaced out. As he tries to approach her, Ami suddenly falls down, making the situation complicated. Desperate for help, Hayato tries to call for Riho's help, but she refuses, claiming that she has other things to do. In his search for Uka and Akane, Hayato accidentally sees them changing clothes, resulting in a flying sandal striking his face. As he successfully closes the cafe, Hayato wonders why the 5 girls have been acting strangely toward him. He soon realizes that they are only part-time employees and not members of his family. As he tries to look for the girls, they surprise Hayato with a celebration for the cafe's 2-month anniversary. At that point, Hayato realizes that they are all his family. During the party, Akane receives a phone call from her mother, leaving her upset. When Hayato tries to taste his coffee, Akane appears and compliments him on how similar he is to his grandmother. Curious about Akane's attitude, Hayato asks her if she is considering leaving her job at the cafe, leaving her surprised. Akane reveals that she intends to leave due to her family's circumstances, but expresses her appreciation for working at the cafe. Hayato then makes a surprising request, asking Akane to go on a date with him. Uka quickly informs the other girls that Hayato and Akane are dating, which disappoints them. During their date, Akane realizes that Hayato's intention was to keep the other girls from finding out about her resignation. As they both return from their date, Hayato asks Akane to make him a cup of coffee. While making the coffee, Akane finally opens up about her family's business, her father's death, and her role as the sole heir. Her mother has given her a year of freedom, but now she calls Akane back to fulfill her responsibilities. However, Hayato senses the bitterness in her coffee, suspecting that she is lying. Just then, the 4 girls appear and tell Akane not to leave the cafe, leading Akane to decide to stay and ask Hayato to do something to help her stay. The following day, Akane's mother arrives to take her daughter home, but Akane refuses and asks for permission to pursue her passion for music and stay at the cafe. Unfortunately, her mother declines her request and scolds her for shaming the family's reputation. Hayato then scolds Akane for not standing up for herself. With that, Akane decides to make her mother a cup of coffee, just as Hayato's grandmother taught her. As Akane prepares the coffee, Hayato tells her mother that Akane is the best waitress in the cafe who makes the best coffee. After that, Akane's mother tastes her coffee and acknowledges her daughter's right to live her life on her own terms. Suddenly, the other 4 girls appear, telling Akane's mother how important her daughter is to the cafe, and she accepts their request. When her mother wants to leave, Akane promises her that she will find the one she wants to marry, to which her mother humorously suggests that if Akane wants to marry Hayato, she must defeat the other girls, much to Akane's embarrassment. Shortly after, Akane runs into Hayato on the beach, where she expresses her gratitude by hugging him and promising to make him coffee for the rest of his life. An embarrassed Hayato then warns her not to make fun of him and leaves her behind. It becomes clear that Akane has a crush on Hayato. After paying them their monthly salaries, Hayato intends to open a beach hut during the summer break in order to increase the cafe's income. He reveals that opening the beach hut costs a lot of money, which is nearly 4 months' worth of revenue. So the girls agree to work for the summer, and Uka immediately suggests changing their spring uniforms into beach outfits, which makes Hayato blush. The next day, Shirajuku creates a watermelon parfait for their new beach hut menu. While Hayato engages in a photoshoot to promote their cafe, Ami playfully interrupts with her silly mask, photobombing the shot. Riho then comes up with an idea, and they decide to go to the beach for a photoshoot with the cafe's waitress. As the Seaside Cafe Familia opens, it quickly becomes a huge success, with everyone enjoying the beach hut experience. While they are working, a jealous Riho notices Akane talking to Hayato and scolds them for not taking their job seriously. However, Riho becomes dizzy and collapses as a result of a mild heatstroke. When she awakens, she finds herself hugging Hayato, feeling both embarrassed and happy. Hayato then pats her head while scolding her for making him worry again, but also expresses his concern. So Riho takes Hayato's hand, promising to be more careful in the future, which makes them both happy. As Riho recovers from her heatstroke, she returns to serve her customers, which makes Hayato wonder where she gets her energy. He also discovers that Shirajuku has a guaranteed chef career after college, causing him to question why she bothers to work at the cafe. However, Shirajuku refuses to answer his question. Suddenly, Fuwa's grandson and his thugs show up at the beach hut and start harassing Riho. Determined to save her, Hayato orders Ami to scare them away. However, Ami, known for her unique sense of humor, defies Hayato's order and uses her terrifying mask to startle the thugs, successfully driving them away. As Riho prepares to apologize for the trouble she has caused, she witnesses Hayato being flirted with by the girls, igniting her anger and frustration. Suddenly, a group of news reporters arrive, requesting an interview about their beach hut. Riho steps in between them, and the reporter accidentally reveals her past as a child actress, which deeply upsets her. It is revealed that her mother overworked her, causing her father to divorce due to concerns about Riho's health, resulting in Riho's family's loss. Hayato then encourages her by recognizing her hard work for the cafe and emphasizing how important she is to him and his family. Concerned about Riho's health, he scolds her for pushing herself too hard. Touched by his concern, Riho asks Hayato not to leave her alone, and immediately hugs Hayato while she is crying in his arms. As Uka walks to the beach hut, she meets Shirajuku and silly Ami with her new glasses. To her annoyance, Uka scolds Ami for not taking her job seriously. A crying Ami runs back home, crying, leaving Hayato concerned for her well-being. Meanwhile, at the cafe, Akane and Uka are working when Ami appears and immediately hugs Uka. However, it is revealed that she is not Uka but her twin sister, Kika. Kika explains that their parents sent her to check on Uka's condition. Uka tells her that she can't return home because she's too busy with her part-time job, but Kika criticizes her for not attending college and living with a boy and 4 other girls. She then insults the girls, Hayato and Familia Cafe, as unsuitable for their respectable Makuzawa family, causing Uka to slap Kika in frustration. Kika immediately flees, leaving Uka to apologize and explain to the others that her family has all graduated from Tokyo University for generations, but she couldn't handle the pressure and chose to study fashion instead. The next day, as Uka attempts to work, she accidentally bumps into a customer, causing their glasses to fall and break. Hayato notices a disguised Kika observing them from a distance. Uka then recalls her conversation with her parents, in which Kika agreed to attend university in exchange for pursuing her passion for fashion. Hayato then enters Uka's room and tells her that Kika is worried about her, so he gives her a day off to make up with her. As Uka prepares to leave, she runs into Kika, who has been waiting for her. Kika expresses a desire to attend university, believing that Uka forced her to go and then distanced herself from her. She also notices the beach hut swimsuits and cafe uniforms, envious that she has never had the opportunity to dress cutely like Uka. Realizing how deep her sister's emotion is, Uka reaches out and gently holds Kika's cheek. She apologizes for the incident where she slapped Kika, recognizing the pain she caused her. Touched by Uka's confession, Kika breaks down in tears, confessing how much she has missed Uka's presence in her life. Later that night, Uka thanks Hayato for reuniting her with her little sister. She then feels curious as to how Hayato was able to tell the difference between Kika and herself, especially since their parents frequently confused them. Hayato explains that Kika is left-handed, while Luka is right-handed. He also recognizes that she would never do anything cruel to her family because she is the most caring of the 6 girls, which makes her flustered. Hayato begins to worry that his cafe's revenue is declining month after month, and he is unable to close his grandmother's business. Meanwhile, Akane walks into his room and brings him a cup of coffee. She then attempts to broach the subject of romance, but an embarrassed Hayato brushes it aside, explaining that his main concern is reviving his grandmother's cafe. So Akane decides to put her confession on hold for the time being, unaware that Shirajuku has overheard their conversation. Because the bathtub in the house breaks, they must bathe at a nearby bathhouse while Hayato agrees to install a new bath and toilet. During their time at the bathhouse, Akane decides to ask Riho about her feelings for Hayato. Riho, on the other hand, dodges her question by simply describing Hayato as a hard-working man. So Akane tells Riho directly that she loves Hayato, which surprises her. As they finish bathing, Riho realizes she forgot to prepare breakfast for tomorrow, and Hayato insists on accompanying her. As they walk together, Riho reflects on Akane's confession and wonders about Hayato's response. Riho then pulls on his shirt and confesses her love for him, though she immediately claims it as a joke. To his surprise, Hayato expresses his happiness upon hearing her confession but explains that his current focus is on the cafe. Riho feels excited by his response. The next day, Akane and Riho's rivalry heats up when Riho admits to Akane that she also has feelings for Hayato. However, their fight is interrupted by Ami, who calms down the situation and asks them to apologize to each other. Akane admits to provoking Riho in order to encourage her to be honest about her feelings, and Riho confirms her love for Hayato while apologizing for losing her temper. The two rivals agree to compete in a more friendly manner. Suddenly, Hayato enters the cafe, asking everyone to stop fighting over him. Unaware of the situation, Ami innocently tells him that it's all a game. Misinterpreting her words, Hayato believes that Akane and Riho's previous confessions as a game, leading him to run away from the cafe. Despite the misunderstanding, Akane and Riho both swear they will express their feelings to Hayato. Hayato informs the girls that he wishes to create another new menu item. As Akane and Riho try to express their feelings, they notice Hayato doesn't trust either of them, given their recent rivalry behavior. In the kitchen, Shirajuku assists Hayato in creating a new menu, but because she is about to start college, Hayato tells her that he cannot rely on her forever. Irritated by his words, Shirajuku unexpectedly confesses her feelings for him, much to Hayato's surprise. Thankfully, she's just drunk on the kitchen's alcohol disinfectant. As Hayato hears a rumor about his grandmother, he demands to know about Shirajuku's presence in his grandmother's room late at night, and she shares a flashback revealing that his grandmother was once a renowned 3-star Michelin chef in Spain who mentored Shirajuku's father, which is also how Shirajuku first met Hayato as a child. His grandmother never wanted Hayato to know that she had to abandon her career as a chef in order to raise him. Hayato then blames himself for ruining his grandmother's life, but Shirajuku assures him that his grandmother has never regretted choosing to raise him. Hayato decides that he cannot let the Familia Cafe fail. The other girls, who are all listening in, tearfully agree to do whatever it takes for Familia to succeed, even if their emotional outbursts only cause Hayato to yell in frustration. A flash forward takes us to the future, where a teenage daughter meets an older Hayato, who is still running the Familia Cafe. She then tells him that her mother hasn't changed at all, leaving the question of which of the 5 girls Hayato married unanswered. The question is, who will win Hayato's heart? Let me know in the comments section below. That's a wrap. Thank you for watching.